This is the Pittsburg State Basketball Coaches Show with men's head coach Kim Anderson and women's head coach Amanda David. And now, your host, Jake Stensel.
Welcome into another week with the Pittsburg State Basketball Coaches Show. Believe it or not, one more week left in the regular season. Women's head coach Amanda David is here, but I'm joined now alongside men's head coach Kim Anderson. Let's take a look back at game one from this past week out in St. Joseph against Mo West. And coach, we knew that the end of the schedule has not been favorable. I mean, you see Missouri Western and Northwest Missouri, the number one team in back-to-back weeks. Pretty similar score lines the past two outings against Mo West. This game we saw the deficit was 18, and the first one was 16 points. But the similarity between both these games was going into halftime. It was pretty close in both times. Yeah,
you know, Western has really improved throughout the season. I think their coach, Sundance Wicks, has done a great job of developing good chemistry with his team, and they're really playing well. You know, they obviously beat Missouri Southern last night, and so you know, our guys. I thought our guys played hard. We didn't play especially well. Struggled defensively. Didn't shoot the ball as well as we had been. You know, turned it over too many times, but not an excessive amount of times. But shot a lot of free throws, and when you shoot 27 free throws and the other team shoots 10, you know, you should have an advantage. So disappointing, you know, but our guys, they just keep playing hard, and so you know, hopefully we'll be able to bounce back this week.
Absolutely. The final score in that game against Mo West, 94-76. But somebody that is shooting well is Jacoby Womack. The past couple games, it seems like he's really found a rhythm. He's in the zone, and he had 20 points against Mo West. I mean, how do you make sure that he continues the form he's in, especially in these last two games of the season?
Well, he's put in a lot of time, and the other guys have too. But you know, Jacoby's shots falling for him now. I think, you know, he's a first-year player and he's a one-year player, and so I think sometimes it takes time for guys to get comfortable in what we want to do offensively. I think he's really made a lot of progress in that respect, and he's getting good shots now. I think he's got some confidence, and you know, the last few games he's played pretty well. He's kind of come out of his shell, so to speak, and shooting the ball well.
I want to delve a little bit into these final two games against Lincoln and Central Missouri. How do you ensure, not even just Jacoby Womack, but the whole team to really get off to a fast start and get off to the start that you want to make sure to get these two wins?
If you don't, you won't be playing. A week from today, this will be the show that we talk about the season. You know, I think our guys understand what's happening. We certainly have had some disappointing losses. The last 2 weeks have been tough. You know, we played the number one team in the country twice, and we played Western twice, who's playing really well. So I think our guys, they understand it. We talked after the game last night that our tournament really starts on Wednesday because we got to win games. And you know, if we don't win a couple of games this week, then it's a moot point. We won't be playing in the postseason. So you know, we have two home games. Hopefully our guys, I know our guys understand the significance and how they have to play these last two games at home.
And with these last two games against Lincoln first, then Central Missouri, we know what happened the last time you guys played UCM, got the better end of them on the road. Lincoln, a one-point game, that was a wild finish in that one, but you see them again, you get to see them a second time this season. And so, I mean, you look at both these opponents, what can you expect the second time around?
Well, you know, most teams don't change what they're doing a whole lot, although, you know, Central Missouri's changed a little bit, and Lincoln's changed a little bit. We've changed a little bit, but you know, when you see them the second time, you have a better familiarity of the players, I think, and how to guard individuals. You know, from an offensive standpoint for us, you know the type of defense they're going to play. They haven't really. Most teams don't really change up what they do. You know, Central's going to play some zone, some man. You know how Lincoln's going to guard ball screens, and the big thing now is being able to execute. You know, people a lot of times talk about you know, putting in all these plays and stuff. It doesn't really matter what play you run; they all work if you execute them right. And So you don't just keep adding plays thinking you're going to trick somebody, because you're not, you know. But I think our guys are still, you know, excited. They've worked hard in practice, unbelievable, to be honest with you. And I think they'll be ready to play.
And yeah, so I was going to say, I mean, how ready are they ready to play, considering these are the final 2 games? You know, a lot is riding on these last 2 games, and you know, you gotta expect a lot from them to make sure they're playing the best that they can in the roles that you give them. And so, I mean, what can we expect as far as their mindset coming into these last 2 games?
Oh, I think that you know, they're going to be prepared, and they know what the results are. You know, you win, you might get to keep playing. If you don't win, you're done. Turn in the uniform. Okay.
Well, hey, that's right. Well, speaking of execution, I mean, there was almost a magic in Maryville yesterday, and we'll get into that. But we're going to step aside for a quick break. Stay with us. We'll have more from Coach Anderson after the break. Welcome back into the Pittsburg State Basketball Coaches Show. Coach Anderson still with me here. And what a first half against #1 team in the country. And let's go ahead and head out to Bearcat Arena in Maryville. And I'll tell you what, I mean, seeing this first half, this is arguably probably the best I've seen this team play. Specifically looking at the first half, because we kind of talked about it off air that going into halftime, the crowd was pretty quiet for the most part, just seeing how well that you guys were shooting in the first half and how prepared you came out.
Well, I thought we came out, and it's encouraging as a coach, because we hadn't played that well on Thursday, and to come out against Northwest on Saturday and play like we did was good. We shot the ball well. We executed well. We were able to control the tempo of the game a little bit. You know, certainly this is a great team that we're playing, one of the best, I think, in the country at this point, at least they're #1 at this point. But I thought probably the biggest thing, not other than being able to control the pace a little bit, was defensively. You know, we got them off balance a little bit. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it for the whole game. But you know, I was really pleased with the way we played in the first half. And you know, you always look back and you say, hey, if you play that way the whole year, you'd have a lot different record. But got some good shooting, and you know, there's a good play right there. Dijon, I think, made that 3, and it's just execution, you know. And we didn't do a lot. We didn't try to be tricky. We just tried to play, and it worked in the first half. Yeah,
and Trevor Hudgens and company, and speaking going off the defense, you really kept those players at bay in the first half. They were pretty quiet, but in the second half is when things started to change a little bit. And I mean, from your perspective, what you saw on the floor, what would you say really was a turning point that really saw Northwest really start to elevate a little bit in this game?
Well, they made baskets. You know, in the first half, they didn't shoot the ball very well. They didn't shoot the ball well from 3. They didn't get those breakaways like we just saw right there. So, you know, I thought that in the second half they got a few more uncontested shots. In the first half, we did a phenomenal job of contesting their shots, and they got a few more layups around the basket that you know, came off of either rebounds or loose balls or whatever. You know, we shot the ball not as well in the second half as we did in the first half, and they shot the ball a lot better. And then Trevor Hudgens made 4 threes and made some big plays down the stretch for him.
A much different story this second time around, playing Northwest Missouri. The final in that one, 73-64. I want to go ahead and take a look at the conference standings right now, because it's not over just yet. I mean, of course, it goes without saying the last 2 games are very important, but you might need some help in this one as far as teams losing to help maybe solidify a spot, but definitely need to make sure that Pitt State is taking care of Pitt State's business here in the final 2 games. But it's still a possibility, Coach.
Oh, it's very much, excuse me, it's very much a possibility. I think that if you study it, and obviously when you're in this position, you do study it. You know, you have Fort Hays is still going to play Central Oklahoma. You know, obviously we have to play Central Missouri and Lincoln. So there's games that are going to be played within that 4 or 5 teams there, and you know, actually Lincoln's even in the mix a little bit too at the 8th spot. So, it comes down to we need to take care of our business, because if we don't, then it doesn't matter what everybody else does. But we do hold the tiebreaker. If it's head-to-head, we hold the tiebreaker over Fort Hays. We do not hold the tiebreaker over Central Oklahoma. They beat us here. And if Emporia State would get in the mix, we hold the tiebreaker over them. So, and if we can beat Central Missouri, we would hold the tiebreaker over them. So, main thing is you got to win, you know. And it's a little different, you know. A lot of times you're trying to win a championship. Here you're trying to stay out of 11th place. You're trying to get into the tournament, and once you get in the tournament, you never know what will happen. And you know, I think our guys are playing better. Certainly, it's been a disappointing year overall from a record standpoint, but from a you know, as a coach working with these guys, I think they've gotten better as the year's gone on, and we just haven't been, the old word we're going to use, consistent. You know, we've been inconsistent the whole year.
Now, I was going to say, I want to get back to the Northwest game real quick, because it was almost magic in Maryville there for a second, as I like to phrase it.
Well, I wish it had been, because you love that. You love that word. I love that. There would have been magic.
There would have been, but the words you used to me after that game was it was encouraging to see how your team played, especially in the first half. And so, how do you just take that one step further into these last two games, just to really have some magic here in the last two games to get into the tournament?
Well, it's encouraging after coming off, you know, 3 games in a row where you lost by more points than you had the whole year. So, you know, I just thought it was encouraging that our guys came out and played better.
Absolutely, Coach. Well, that's going to do it for Coach Anderson, and it's going to be an exciting finish here. We hope so. We enter the final week of the season here, but that's going to do it for Coach Anderson. We'll have head coach Amanda David after the break. We welcome on now Pitt State women's head coach Amanda David to the show. And Coach, did you guys go anywhere nice after that game against Northwest Missouri? Because I know you said you guys were going to get ice cream after that game.
We let them pick, so we had to take a little detour down through Kansas City and get to Andy's. So it was a lot of fun for the girls.
Awesome, awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get into the Missouri Western game. And I mean, this game was physical from start to finish, diving for loose balls and crashing the boards. But the two seniors, Athena Alvarado and Megan Maher, really took off in this game and are really something special.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want. I thought these last 2 games, especially, the seniors have done a great job and really showed up and showed out. And we told them it's a big girl game tonight. We knew Western was going to be out to prove something, especially in their home court with their crowd.
And Tristan in this one was off to a big game in the first half, but we saw her just a couple minutes before halftime go down with an injury, but you know, this team did not falter at all. I mean, you watch this game and the physical aspect of this game just continued to take part the rest of the way, and it's just amazing to see how this team responded despite having the leading scorer go down.
Well, I think it was pretty physical, and so the girls were, you know, obviously upset that we thought she got hit a little bit when she went down, and so I think that just kind of kept our focus and our intensity, that we had work to do. And it really wasn't, you know, I don't feel like anybody was like, we're going to do this for Tristan, but, you know, I feel like that's how our team viewed it, was just, we got to keep this going. We got to keep it going for the whole team. And that Tristan, you know, was really upset, and it was a tough injury for her, but she got us off to a great start, and man, she was probably on record pace that game.
Oh, absolutely. But the defense continues to impress, and we see it right here, for example. I mean, just the defense you talked about for the game, switching from man-to-man or the zone, and just the defensive schemes throughout this game just kept changing and changing. And it just goes to show you, when you see this team in back-to-back weeks, how difficult you have to grind out these wins.
Well, I think the scouting report was right on. I thought our keys of emphasis were right on. So all the coaching staff, I feel like, was really involved in the preparation, and the girls, you know, when that happens, I think all the girls are as equally tuned in, and so really, yeah, great celebration there. But and that's just to show that when you're that excited about it, you've put a lot into it. Is what I think is the key to the excitement. And so really happy for the girls to get that to pay off for them, because it was a lot of prep, and it obviously, you know, came down to those little possessions and details.
Well, 61-59, the final in that one. Here are the final stats from that game. Athena Alvarado, double-double. Maher with 13, and Tristan, despite going out with injury, had 11 points in that game. And Coach, I mean, we talked about the defense is changing schemes throughout this one, and just really the defense the past couple games has really answered the call, and it's just been so impressive, and especially it's at the right time as you get ready to get into the tournament, and then who knows what else after that.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, you know, I mentioned with Tristan, I feel like, though, our team did recognize that we lost one of our best scorers, and so that probably even though we were really focused going into that game about defense and rebounding, I think it really made us, oh boy, like we're really going to have to, because there's probably not somebody sitting there that is typically going to get 20 points on their own creation. So I think that really did help continue to keep that focus there.
And I know I mentioned to you after the game against Missouri Western that just the heart of this team, it's been just remarkable. And we saw Kaylee go out in Northwest game the first time around, and then Tristan in the game against Missouri Western. But this team just continues to grind out these wins. And it seems like they've found, I don't know if you want to coin it as another level, a new dimension for this team, but it's been pretty special to see just this team just grind out these wins no matter what situation they're in. Yeah,
I mean, when we had that adversity early in the year, you want to hope for these kind of things where people step up, and you're hoping you have your full roster to do that, and that kids step in when they get their 2 to 5 minutes or 10 minutes and turn it into more and more where we can continue to trust them, because you'll have so many minutes in a game. But we had people that have just been completely out. And so I feel like there have been kids that have been excited for those moments. And I think it proves to coaches that, kids, they're ready. They got to have a little bit of confidence to go with it. They can't get, sometimes we have a short leash on reserves. And so I feel like it's a little less pressure probably for them, because they know they're going to get to stick around for a little bit. But boy, you talk about kids answering and being ready for their moments. The last 4 games, we've had a lot of people step up, and couldn't be prouder for them, couldn't be happier for them. Really happy for them. We have great, relationships in our program, and it really is a situation where you really do feel good for the kids.
Well, talking about special moments, we're going to get into a special moment with Megan Maher in the Northwest Missouri game, and just what a special moment that was. But we'll leave that thought right there. We'll continue with it after we take a quick break. More from Coach David and more from Pitt State Hoops when we come back. We return back to the hardwood for what turned out to be a little bit of a thriller in Maryville, I would say, and we got some free basketball out of it in exchange. Another loud environment to play in, but this team, it just never wavered and matched the intensity of Northwest just the entire duration of this game. And Erin Davis was a name that was huge for this game, 13 points from her off the bench, and definitely helped when Tristan Gegg didn't play in this game. And Erin Davis, and we'll get into a little bit with Ashton McCory, stepped up as well.
Yeah, I feel like Erin should probably be here this week doing this show a little bit. And if you didn't know about her before, then you do now. So I think, our fans got a treat getting to watch her play and compete and really make an impact. And like you said, Ashton the same way.
Yeah, I like what you said. If they didn't know who she was now, they do, or they do now. And yeah. Ashton McCory, another name, hit 2 back-to-back threes that were huge in the second half, and that really sparked some momentum for you guys to really pull back ahead. But what I think was a turning point that maybe a lot of people may overlook was in the end when Northwest went to the free throw line, they missed one of the free throws.
Yeah.
And it allowed you guys to then capitalize on that. And as we'll see right here is the moment where magic happened in the pass, or Sydney Crane inbounds, pass goes out to Megan Maher, or the ball eventually finds her, and what a buzzer beater that was. Special moment, and I'm sure you on the sidelines was going crazy seeing that unfold.
Yeah, I mean, lots of adversity through the game, and I don't think we ever really just stop and really focus on that. We just, who's next? Get in, go sub in, and the kids, hustle in, and it just keeps going. So, I mean, for that moment to really happen, you just never give up. You can't give up. You can't lose hope. And these kids didn't. I mean, they didn't know any different between at what point of the game it was. They're just out there giving their best, and it happened to go in. And so really happy for Megan.
I know they're all calling her Megan Money Maher after that. And
she has been called that before.
And that was the money ball right there to send it overtime. Sydney Crane getting the go-ahead basket, and the defense stood tall in the end to prevent Northwest from trying to kill out the clock and get a game winner of their own. And what a game that was. Gorillas win in overtime, 77-76. Let's take a look at the final stats. Kelly DeMitz led the way for all scorers, but as we mentioned, Ashton McCory, Erin Davis may not have been high up there on the stat sheet, but definitely made the contributions known in this game, and what a special one that was. Well, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the conference standings for this one. And as we know, Pitt State already locked up their spot to Kansas City, and some things can change a little bit, maybe as far as seeding goes, but pretty straightforward here on out. It's sitting at the number 4 spot, and you have to be happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited to be in the top 4 in the league as far as standings, and we can hope to continue to keep it going. It's going to be a tough battle. Nobody, it's just every night. We've talked about this every time I've been on here. It's just the league is so unforgiving, so you better be ready to go. And we've got a big one with Lincoln at home. We do get to be at home, and then we'll play Central. And so we've got one at a time that we need to try to continue to get healthy and just try to be full force. And if not, I feel pretty confident that we have some kids that'll step up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And going back to Northwest real quick, in the final moments of the game, there was only one starter on the floor in its closing minutes, and we saw all that craziness go down, and it's just incredible to think of just the one starters on the floor. We saw how the game went to overtime. We saw how Sydney Crane walked it off. And I mean, what does it say about some of these players on this team? Just whenever they're called upon, they're going to come up and answer that call.
Yeah, I thought Sydney and, we were limited timeouts, and so I thought Sydney and Marina did an awesome job of just going with a little, a nuance that we do. It's not really a play, but they, threw the ball in, let it bounce a little bit, don't take time, and then has the, the consciousness to get a little kick back to Marina. It had some distance, but she put it in, and then we crashed hard and got it, just Megan crashing hard gets the ball out of bounds on them. And then before that, Crane had gotten a rebound that got us the free throws to put us within 3. And there's just so many little extra hustle plays that if we'd given up and just not had enough heart to get those extra hustle plays, we would have never had a chance. And so I think Sydney deserves a lot of credit on that. And like you said, we had our starting point guard out, fouls, and then Maya was struggling a little bit, and Athena had an ankle injury. And so you had Marina and Megan step up and make 2 threes as seniors. And then, Megan being the only starter that was out there. But everybody had confidence, and that's what you want to see from your team is nobody necessarily cares who starts. It's just everybody has a role, and I thought that they all played it very well that day.
And looking ahead, you got Lincoln on Wednesday, and then the big one that I've had circled ever since we saw you guys the first time out against Central Missouri. Mm-hmm. How important is it going to be? I know Athena said she's not going to miss these last 2 games her senior season, but how important is it going to be not to just finish off the right way, but finish off the right way for these seniors on the team?
Oh, absolutely. You want to give them the best showing and best, last game that you can. And so I feel like, we want to be ready for that. And if we can have all hands on deck, that'll be the best chance for us. And it's hopefully a situation where we're, like we said, are playing our best basketball right now, and I feel like we are, and I feel like we've gotten the depth. We just got to get everybody on the floor to get there, and we'll see what develops. But we're all really excited. I mean, as you can tell on the last or after the buzzer, everybody ran out, whether they were hurt or didn't feel good or whatever. I think Athena stole probably Tristan's crutches to get out there, so we might need a few more of those, but for the most part, what an awesome job for them to get that done, and hopefully we can continue it.
Well, one more week. This is it, the final week before Pitt State is off to Kansas City, and hopefully some more ice cream trips in there for you guys. But hopefully. It's going to be an exciting finish to see it all go down, and that's going to do it for this week. Thanks to Coach Anderson, Coach David. We are in the final week of the season. We'll see you next time. Good night, everyone.
This has been the Pittsburg State Basketball Coaches Show.